करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वांसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्थाः संन्यासयोगात् यतयः शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोकेषु परान्तकाले परामृतात् परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्थः शुचिः समग्रीव शिरः शरीरः अत्याश्रमस्थः सकलेन्द्रियाणि निरुध्य भक्त्या स्वगुरुं प्रणम्य विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्थः. External factors, preparations which help a person to contemplate, to meditate. Choose a secluded, quiet place and then choose a proper time and then sukhasanastaha, be seated comfortably in a steady posture. Shuchihi, invoke the pure self in you, the higher self in you. Shuchihi. Of course, there is this external purity is automatically implied. Doing snanadi, that is the external purity. Then invoke the pure in you, the self, the higher self in yourself. Shuchihi. Suspend all other roles and responsibilities for the time being. That is as said in the Gita, we saw the other day, sparshan kritva bahihi bahyan. Unrelated roles, thoughts, worries, anxieties, plans, all of them you suspend for the time being. Shuchihi. Then samagriva shiras shariraha, with a straight body, in balance, the least effort, maximum stability, comfort with the least effort. See, sitting needs some energy. Body spends energy. Standing, the body spends energy. Even lying down, the body has to spend. Even while sleeping, the body has to spend energy. Without spending energy, the body cannot live. And then, if I am running or jumping or walking or even standing, the body needs to spend more energy. One thing, I get tired physically. One thing. Number two, my mind gets preoccupied with my balance, etc. And also my mind gets distracted with the external perception, sounds, sights, etc. Mind gets disturbed. And it runs after what I see, then it goes into a train of thought. The mind tends to be associative in terms of thinking. It jumps from one to another by association. Goes from one and then to that. So clock, I have a clock on this table just to associate how mind runs while being. I have a clock on this table. Of course, now it runs on battery. Right? Some small battery it runs. But then in the olden days, when battery was not available, they used to wound mechanical clocks were there. They wind. There's a spring. You might have seen that. Spring is there, and then you wind the spring every week. We used to have one clock at home, the wall clock. But then my father wrote Wednesday. I did not understand what is. First of all, I did not know what is WED. He wrote. He had written. I did not know what is W. I don't know what is that written. Some funny, some symbol, something, some sketch like something is there. Because I did not know the alphabet. Then once I knew the alphabet, then I could read WED. I could read. Okay. But what is WED? I don't know. And then later on, I came to know that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, Wednesday. That is Wednesday. Then why Wednesday? On Wednesday, remember to give key. Once a week you give the key and then it runs for the week. Sometimes he would forget also. In his business, being busy, he would forget. And the next day the clock would stop. Then only we know, Father, the clock has stopped. Right? And then he would give the key and all that. Very interesting. And then there is a wall clock, a grandfather clock is there. Right? So grandfather clock means the family clock. It's been hanging on the wall for generations now, and with a long pendulum swinging, tick, 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 and all that. And then we have bigger ones also, like in that. Tower clock is there. And then the famous clocks are Westminster Palace, Westminster clock is there. And then the clock chimes, the chime of the clock, very beautiful chime is Big Ben. Yeah, the Big Ben, world famous Big Ben is there. The chime is very famous. And that ring, the chime, the ring comes in the news broadcast, the BBC news channel, on radio you can hear the clock. 9 o'clock you can hear the chime of the Big Ben. The chime of the Big Ben. You associate. Then you hear the chime, that's BBC News. Right? Trustworthy. For the most part, trustworthy. Okay. Then you get used to listening to the time. You look for the 9 o'clock. Oh, no. Now time for listening to the news. Get so much used. You may be listening to something else. With Bharati at 9 o'clock, you turn to BBC and listen. Okay. And then you hear a lot of news. You get exposure to what's happening around in the world, right? The current news, etc., etc., etc. Goes on. Clock. From the clock to BBC, right? News. This is associative thinking. See, from one thought to another thought, the mind jumps. But there is some connection, some common factor between the two thoughts is that unconnected generally mind does not jump. It associates to something and then jumps onto that. Like our monkey, familiar monkey. One branch to the nearby branch, reachable branch. Okay? This is the associative thinking. Mind generally goes into that. You sit in an easy chair Sunday morning, right? Weekly off with a cup of coffee, and then you sit and then time just goes. Right? Great luxury. What did you do now? Did nothing. Just reminisced, just associative thinking, jump from thought to thought. Mind has a general tendency to go into this mode, associative thinking. If we sum up, for half an hour you sit about thinking, what did you think about in half an hour? Nothing. We say, a penny for your thought. My friend comes and asks, hello friend, what are you thinking? A penny for your thought, he says. You say, nothing. Yeah, he was thinking a lot of things, but I say nothing. What does it mean? It amounts to nothing. I got nothing by thinking on those lines. Nothing. There is no benefit. There is nothing particular worth mentioning, worth saying, etc. So mind goes into this associative thinking. That is why japa is enjoined. A japa, a chant, mind comes back to that again and again and again. Even as and when the mind tends to move away, into something else, thinking of something, hearing something, into some daydreaming, etc., then we bring the mind back. Japa is this is one of the purpose of japa, not the only purpose. One of the purpose of japa is to bring the mind back to one and the same occupation. Keep chanting repeatedly. The mind is usually not familiar with staying with one thing for a length of time. Then we use japa as one method. That's not the only purpose of japa, but one of the purpose of japa is to bring the mind back to the same thing. In South India, in some big temples, they have elephants. Temple elephant is there. You can see in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, in Andhra, even in Karnataka, in big temples you can see elephants are there. And particularly if the elephant is a baby, then the baby elephant is very, very restless. Keep on moving this way, that, probing with its trunk, this and that, and all the time, very busy. Very nice sight to watch the baby elephant. Very beautiful to watch. But then sometimes the trainer wants the elephant to stay put, or stay put in one position, or without so much of movement if he wants. Particularly when it is in public. Sometimes it's taken in the public. Then in public it cannot be so much disturbed, so much be active, because it may upset people. People may be afraid, etc. So they train the elephant. So train the elephant, what they do, the mahout, the trainer, has one stick, ankusha. What do you call that? Ankusha in Tamil and Sanskrit. He has a rod, that fellow has a rod with a small hook, metal hook there in the front, that tip. A sharp hook is there. And with that he will pierce the ear of that, give a prick, give a hit with that stick, rod, that will pain. And then once it's painful, the elephant knows, I do this, I get a prick. It pains. The pain is the result of doing this. Then it learns to stop that. That stick he has a very puny stick, wielded by a puny fellow. And this fellow is able to control the giant animal with so much. This may have some 500, 600 strength of so many men it may have, but it obeys this master, the mahout, the trainer. Now, the mahout just gives the stick to the trunk of the elephant, gives it. Hold it, elephant, hold it. That's the command given. And the elephant is trained to that, all the commands, the familiar, the voice. Even though it does not understand the language, but the sound it understands. You can see, if you go to Guruvayur in Kerala, you can see that there is the temple has some 65 elephants, as I know. 65 elephants. Remember, think of feeding them, elephant feeding an elephant, 65 elephants they have. And they are very old elephants who can't do anything. Just they are also there, they are maintained. They are just fed and then taken care of. You can see very old elephants also you can see. And then cubs also you can see. And all of them have their turns. Feeding time is there. And then every elephant has a name also, Keshavan, and all that names are given. Right? Ramu, Keshava, names are given. Padmini and all different names. And then all elephants have duties to do. They carry the feed, the cattle, the elephant feed is there that comes in trucks, and unloading and all is done by the elephant. Simply huge with the trunk, and then gently, very gracefully takes and then dumps it there and then empties the truck. You can see all this, you can watch. And then as a result, this fellow will get the elephant will get a ball of rice and cooked rice and with some other stuff also, with the vegetable and all that mixed in one ball. And then one ball given, it's one morsel for the elephant. Reward for obeying, reward for doing. And these elephants are taken for bath also. They also have a timetable. This elephant, this time, that elephant, next time, that time also they have. There's a big pond is there. And then the trainer takes the elephant and then takes one or two and then tells the elephant, Padada, lie down. Then Edattanai, turn left. Valattanai, turn right. Purikada, you can hear this comment on Malayalam, you can hear this. The fellow says, Purikada means spray, suck water with the trunk and then pour on it, sprinkle on it. Purikada, Edatha Purikada, Valatha Purikada, and all that you can hear. Padada, something. This fellow, the fellow obeys. Sometimes they don't obey also. They indulge, water, they are so happy, so thrilled, and then they just don't obey. This fellow says, Edatyanai, Valatyanai. Jao. For a while the fellow doesn't even listen. And this fellow leaves it free also. Okay. Doesn't care, doesn't mind. So very, very nice and beautiful sight. If you go to Kerala, you must go to Guruvayur, and if you go to Guruvayur, you must go to this place, Anantavalam, it's called, where the elephants are kept. Very nice. So this fellow gives and I saw also some elephants which are newly brought in there, they are not trained and they are tied in chain, and this fellow, there are two trainers are there training. The four legs are there, the rear left leg, this fellow should lift and hold like this, should stand like this. If the fellow puts it down, one whack with a stick. Then again the fellow does. They need to be trained. That's how they train. That's part of the training. Okay? Carrot and stick, rewards and punishment. That's what the learning is there. The point is, they give the stick to this elephant and then they hold it, stand like this, hold it. Don't throw it away, don't catch something else, just catch the stick. An insignificant looking stick. The elephant learns to hold it for quite a length of time. That's part of training. This is something similar we do to ourselves. When we give japa, do this, Soham, Namah Shivaya, right? Om Namo Narayana, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. You tell them, give the mind, hold it. Mind is like the elephant, and this mantra is like the stick. Now, come back to it, hold on to it like that. Way, two things happen. One thing is, mind is saved from the unnecessary distractions, worthless distractions, spending of and wastage of energy and time and spirit and cheer in the unproductive, unnecessary train of thinking. That is one thing. Number two, the mind gets a facility, mind becomes familiar with focusing on something subtle. Mantra is just a sound. It's a sound. It's a word, of course, but it's reduced to sound. It's sound. Of course, a very meaningful sound, and a punya sound it is, giving drishta, adrishta, pala, yes, but it's not a meaningless sound. Nevertheless, it is a sound. What do you have in that mantra? Nothing, only the sound. Eyes, you see forms. Ears, you hear different meaningful sounds, and then birds singing, etc. You see. But then, here you give the mind only this sound, the sacred sound, the chant alone you give. Just stay with that. Sound, it's not a visible form, but it's just a reverberating sound, and then a very meaningful. But then the mind may not worry about that meaning, etc. now, but then stays with that, learns to stay with that. Therefore, the mind can stay without engaging in forms and sounds, touch and smell, etc. Thereby the mind can stay with that. The staying capacity for the mind one nurtures. Unless the mind can learn to stay with something, then it cannot accomplish bigger and bigger things. Success, accomplishment comes when one is able to stay with the goal, stay with the means. Success comes, accomplishment comes. We hear about great tapasvis, great rishis accomplishing great things because they stayed with their austerity, with their tapas, the penance. They stayed with that. It's very, very important. One who stays with the means succeeds, accomplishes. The one who is not able to find a staying power in that, the person will not accomplish much, at least for now. Till the person learns to stay with the means, right? Till then the person does not accomplish. Just some also ran. The fellow becomes an also ran. Okay? Also ran. At least for now. Not that the effort is wasted, but the effort is not fruitful now. That's all. This effort will not go waste, as Krishna points out. Right? What is that? Sloka again, I forget. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Neha Bikram. I keep forgetting. Neha Bikrama nashosti. Pratyavayo na vidyate. He says. There is no loss. It's not lost upon you. But then it's not rewarding right now. Why it is not rewarding right now? Because you did not stay with it. Simply as simple as that. You did not stay with it. No reward now. That's all. Suppose I go to work. I join some firm, some company. I take some responsibility and then work there. 2 hours I worked and then quit. What do they give? Nothing. Suppose I work for a week or a month. I get a payment. Is there. So too, mind has to learn to stay with what is proper, what is appropriate, what is an appropriate effort. The mind has to learn to stay with that. It's a very important learning. If it is not taught to the mind will keep running in its usual way, accomplishing nothing, virtually nothing, or very little. Therefore, the staying power is very, very important. That's why japa, etc. That is one of the purpose of japa. Not the only purpose, but one of the purpose of japa. Repeatedly, say we come back to that sound, we come back to that thought, come back to that vritti, again and again and again and again and again we come back. It's not a meaningless chant. Meaningless chants we don't give. Shastra does not give meaningless chants. They are all very, very meaningful words. Right now I may not know the meaning, I may not even be bothered to know the meaning, but nevertheless it's not meaningless sound. Okay. Because some people say, they find it easy to say it's a meaningless sound, rather than take the pains to explain what it means. To explain what is Shiva, what is Narayana, what is Hari. Not everyone connects with that. Not even if they relate to that. And therefore they say easy route, meaningless sound. Okay. And some people are resistant to certain religious. If you said God, Ishvara, then something comes up from within. They resist. There is resistance. There's a block within. A lot of people we see that. When you say God, they run away. That's all. When you say truth, light, etc., they stay, fine. Light, truth, and then it's fine. Peace, fine. But God, they run away. There is some block within. Unfamiliarity, and also certain leaning is there. So to those people who explain the meaning of a mantra, Om Namo Narayana, to explain too much. Therefore, they say meaningless sound, but it's not a meaningless sound. It's all meaningful, very, very meaningful words. In fact, some of the most meaningful words we have, that is the mantras. Okay. So the mind can stay with that. So one needs to, that is said here, Atyashramastaha Sakala Indriyani Nirudhya, restraining all senses, checking the wild run, unchecked run, the running out of the sense organs and the mind. Thereby one learns. It's not that one has to go on restraining the mind forever. That's endless. It becomes endless, tiring, and then becomes too much also. Sometimes it becomes too much. Mind gets so wild, and then the fellow trying to restrain, and then the fellow is tired and then gives up. One saint says, impossible things I can do it easily. He says, impossible, child's play. He says, it's not child's play. Compared to something, he says it's child's play. You know, I can make a rope out of sand, sea sand, beach sand. I can make a rope out of it very easily. I can make out of it, and I can bend the sky into I can bend the skies. I can do that, right? I can make a bow out of the sky. I can do it easy, and I can control thousands of wild elephants very easily. I say, all the 1,000 elephants will be tamed, will behave. It's all very easy. But this one thing I find it very difficult. How to control myself? This is very difficult, impossible for me. Very difficult for me. The saint says. That saint is a person who has restrained himself very well. But then he says, how unwieldy, how uncontrollable the mind may be. Okay. Formless, no? And it has a million escape routes. The mind has million escape routes. You try to restrain in one way or 2 ways or 10 ways, it has umpteen other escapes. And sometimes it plays, goes along with you so that it can escape. Hey, oh mind, why? How wild you are? Am I not wild? Escape. Mind has its own very tricky ways. It can trick one. You see, it has such a potential, powerful entity it is. Well, that is one side of the mind. Okay. Therefore, one needs to focus. It's an immense energy. Mind is a virtually inexhaustible energy is there in the mind. Virtually inexhaustible. Not that measured in terms of calories, energy of the mind, inexhaustible source of energy, and so many calories. Not in terms of calories, but the cheer, ideas, plans, and then innovations, discovery, experiment, right? Analyze what all it can do. A great instrument it is. But then anything, utilize that great power. That's what it is said here. Utilize that rather than spend away, rather than scatter it, rather than waste away the energy, such a huge potential. Utilize that. For that, one needs a little bit of training. In the military schools, where the cadets are trained, a lot of rigor is there. 5 o'clock, drill, come to drill, jogging. A lot of rigor is there in military drill. Amazing. And every day the drill is there. Keep running, doing weight, doing lift and all that. Even in peacetime they are very active. So it's not a military drill that we are talking about here, but a self-mastery here. So Sakala Indriyani Nirudhya. And sometimes, quite often, there is a fight going on within. What fights within? With oneself, fighting with oneself. Like hitting, slapping, banging. Imagine a boxer, heavyweight boxer, punching himself, an uppercut. Imagine boxing with oneself, fighting with oneself. Right? We do that at times. We fight we all know that. It's all intimate experience, every one of us. We fight with ourselves, fighting with ourselves. Be that, don't be that, do this, don't do that. And then the fuel by this likes and dislikes, raga, dvesha, the fight goes on within. When does the fight stop? I have to call a truce, I have to call a stop fighting. I have to call, and then I have to learn that I don't have to fight within. There is no need for me to fight within. Why is there fighting? Because there are the various pulls and pushes are there. And then once ideas of ideals are there, and then actuals are there, the gap between them is there. So I want this much, but I have only this much. I want to be like that, but I am this way. I want to be there, but I am here, right? So much of the gap, the disparity, or the disjunction, disconnect between the gap between what one wants to be and what one thinks one is. There is a chasm, a huge gap. Therefore, there is a lot of fight within. Now, in meditation, or before meditation, or in the process of meditation, suspend all that, at least for the time being. You suspend all that. Sakala indriyani nirudhya. Have a composure. Cultivate the composure. Get familiar with yourself as being composed. Otherwise, you become composed. You rot. Otherwise, you rot. Simply rot. Compost is a manure. No? Leaves and all that, manure, that is compost. I am composed. I am composed. No. I am composed. Okay? Telugu composed. Telugu. Make it clear. Composed. Make it clear. So invoke that. Learn that. Okay. Sakala indriyani nirudhya. This value is a great value. One needs to discover. Swamiji keeps on saying, then Swamiji keeps on saying that value of values. I value self-mastery. I value self-discipline. It's very important. Discover the value of self-discipline, self-mastery. Unless I discover for myself, it doesn't work. Things don't work for me. Any amount of restraining, disciplining from outside, I may only obey for a while, but I am not convinced. My heart is not with that. In a teenage kids, you say, kids, come, sit quietly. They'll just obey you. Listen. With a blank face, they will look at you. You want me to sit quiet? Fine, I can do that. Blank face. The teacher is going on saying some lesson, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, chemistry, something, or humanities, something the fellow is teaching. You told me to sit quiet, I can sit back, I can do that. Okay, you want to sit quiet? Okay, I do that. So, there is no value for that. Why should one be disciplined? I have to discover that for myself. It has to be my value. Shama, Dhamma is all discipline, self-discipline it is. It has to be once more. I have to discover the value for it, the need for it, the importance of it, and the result of it. What I am getting by that, I need to see. I need to have a taste of it. Till then, till I am convinced, I will do that. So, it's a self-mastery. Discover the value for it, importance of it, discover what one gets out of it, find it, and then one gets a taste, one gets a liking, then it's easy for that. Therefore, Sakala Indriyani, Indriya Nirodha. Shastra does not say this so as to control us. It's not controlling us. Shastra is the one entity which is not at all interested in controlling. People may be interested. Somebody may be interested in controlling the shares, controlling the company, controlling the people, controlling the thoughts even. No? What one should think. No? The TV is controlling. The television channels are controlling what we should think. Right? What we should believe in. What should we think. What stand we should take. What attitude we should take. Televisions are there to control us. They are all controlling us. That's why they call it idiot box, no? They are controlling us. But then Shastra is, there is one entity on the earth which does not have any control, doesn't want to control at all, it is Shastra. It is Shastra. Veda Shastra doesn't control at all. It does not believe in controlling. Right? There's no controlling here. But then the Veda says self-control is the best. Right? Self-discipline is the best discipline. That's what it says. You discover that, you find a value for it, you nurture that, then you stand to gain. That's what it says. And this repeatedly says, Bhagavad Gita, if you see, all over, the Indriyani Niruddhyado, Tasmatvam Indriyanyadav Niridya, Sakala Indriyani Niruddhya, all over we see. Kathopanishad also we see that. How one can rise to divinity, being a divine, like a divine being here itself. The secret lies in self-mastery. A master of oneself, one can elevate oneself to a level of divinity here itself. Otherwise, one is just a mundane existence or even a demonic existence. Possibly, one may bring oneself down to the level of a demon by one's own choices, actions, right? Whereas on the other hand, it is possible to elevate oneself to a level of a divinity. We have so many Mahatmas, saints we have. How it's all happened? How did they do it? No, only by self-mastery. Self-mastery is the key for divinity. Okay. That's why Bhagavan calls us the Daivi Sampat. Bhagavan calls it as Daivi Sampat, divine virtues, divine wealth. So, Indriya Nirodha, Shamadama, they are very, very fundamental for accomplishment, success, spiritual accomplishment, definitely so. Elevate oneself to divinity, the key is in the Shamadama, self-discipline, self-mastery, Sakala Indriyani Niruddhya. And the commentator points out here, now when we say Indriya here, it also includes Manaha, mind also, right? Remember the simile, the metaphor, the horses, sense organs are the horses, and then the mind is the pragraha, manaha pragrahameva. Mind is like the rein which regulates the movement of the horses. It's not just a restraint, it regulates, right? It just regulates the movement of the horses. So too, mind has the potential to regulate one's energy, one's cheer, one's time. Therefore, the commentator very rightly points out, Sa Manaskani Indriyani, along with the mind, Shamadama, etc. Learn, practice. Then, invoking the devotee, invoking the prayerful person in one, the Shastra says, Bhaktya Swagurum Pranamya. Pranamya, having saluted, bowing to, I bow to my Guru, Swaguru, Swagurum Pranamya. The Guru may be present or may not be present when I sit for meditation, but then if the Guru is not physically present there, then I, Manasa, in my mind, I do the Pranama, Swagurum Pranamya. And he adds here, the Shastra adds Bhaktya with devotion. What is this devotion? Is it demanded? Devotion is demanded from me or one? Devotion comes from you. It's not demanded. It comes from you. It's a born of a value of an understanding. What you stand to get, what you get, you have a value for that. And that value is expressed as devotion. Your love for something big, the goals that you are seeking, your love for that, the value that you have for it, that is expressed as devotion. When it is represented, it's a love basically, it's an expression of love. Prayer, devotion, worshipfulness, puja, they're all expressions of love. That's all. Expressions of love. Towards my mother, towards my father, I express my love. It's a filial love. Okay? Love is not as they use in the Western with the world now. Love, it's a different, it just means a physical relation. Man-woman relation only. Love means physical relation. It's a very crude reduction of the meaning of that word. It's a very beautiful word, big word, and they reduce very crude reduction of that word. Okay. Now, so filial love, or the pattern, filial love, towards one's own siblings, towards one's parents, towards one's own children, right? Parental love. Right? We have. If I'm a parent, my love I express in a way. To my neighbor, to my relative, I express my care and all of them. To a suffering person, I express my love as a kindness. I reach out, right? I help. That is an expression of love again. Towards my teacher, that as respect. It's love that shows us respect. Respect is not demanded. It does not come if it is not there in you. Okay. So the love, it is a love. Why I respect the teacher? Because the teacher has so much to give to me, which is very, very useful for me, by which I grow, by which I understand certain things. So I respect the teacher. I love what the teacher does to me. I love what I learn from the teacher, and that love is called respect for the teacher. When I express what I am, when I understand what I am given, what I have gotten, then towards Ishvara, that love is called devotion. Love expressed towards Ishvara is called bhakti, devotion. Okay. It's not merely meaningless acts, rituals. Behind the rituals, behind certain acts, there is love there. There is an appreciation of that. These rituals and then the forms of worship, etc., are there too, so that one can become familiar with that, learn to appreciate what one is given, what one has gotten, what one is getting from Ishvara, what one is getting, and then appreciate that. It takes a lot of maturity to appreciate what one gets. A mature person appreciates what one is getting. An immature person doesn't value it, doesn't know the value of what one is getting, and therefore there is no appreciation. At least for now, the person out of immaturity, sheer immaturity, the person does not know what one gets. Suppose the 1 year old, say 1 year old kid is there, and then the father presents with a diamond ring. That 1 year old kid would not know what is a ring, why should I wear a ring, why should father give me, why does the father give me, what is a diamond, doesn't know anything. Right? Doesn't know anything. But the same fellow, when the fellow grows up, then knows the value of it, worth of it, monetary worth at least. And then behind that present there is a love, parent, the love of the father, right? It is there. So it takes a lot of maturity to appreciate. To be appreciative takes maturity. Yeah. Otherwise we just ignore, we just don't know the worth of what we are getting, what one gets. And then all that time longing for what one does not. Think that one, I don't have this, and then keep on longing for it. Missing out in the process what one has, what one can do, right? What one can do with what one has, innumerable things one can accomplish. one fellow lost his legs. Some accident happened and he lost his legs. And then for a time, there was a trauma was there, physical trauma, and then mentally there was a very traumatic experience. People undergo traumatic experience. Intense trauma is there. It is there. But then it need not be lifelong trauma. It's not need. Yes, for the moment, for a while there is trauma is there. Yes, intense grief is there. Sense of loss is there. One feels lost. The moments of trauma, one feels lost, right? Totally disoriented. Become what to do? Why do I live? Why I'm living for? What am I living for? People just lose connection, orientation. Total loss of orientation is there. It's one of the moments. Some of the moments when one is at weakest. One is at once weakest in the moments of trauma. At those moments, one should not jump into conclusions. One should not take any decisions. Big decisions one should not take. Decide when you are strong. Take decisions, important decisions from strength, not from weakness. Okay? It's very important. Some people in intense trauma commit suicide. All suicides, all suicides are preceded by trauma. There is intense trauma is there. Okay. So, where was I? That is start of. No. After that, I branched off into trauma. Appreciate. No. It's a long way. There. Swagurum pranamya. This is a problem with me. I get lost sometimes. Okay. Anyway, okay. But then trauma passes off, it passes off, and then one regains one's strength, and then decisions, take from the point when you are strong. So take this. It's an important learning in one's life. Don't take major decisions when one is at its weakest. Okay. Take decisions when you are strong. Strong within. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm really lost. See, I'm not able to connect. Where did I branch off? Okay. Okay. Maturity. It takes a lot of maturity to appreciate what one is given and what utilize it. Longing, otherwise missing something, right? When I keep on longing for something which I think I don't have now, I miss out on what I have now, right? I have been blessed with so much, and then what all I can do. I was talking about that person who lost his legs. Okay, that's where I took off. That fellow did undergo some trauma, but then the fellow came out of it. Then he discovered that, with legs, I can do 100 things. I can do 1,000 things, 10,000 things I can do with the legs. I can stand, I can jump, I can run, and I can stand on one leg. It's all that I can do. Yes, I can climb easily stairs and all that I can do. 100 things, 1,000 things I can do. But is that all? Does it mean that without legs I can't do anything? Then he said, I can do 1,000,000 things. Even without legs I can do 1,000,000 things. Right? I discovered that, this fellow says, I discovered that with legs I could do some 10,000 things. But even without the legs I can do a million things. A great mind, a great discovery for that person, right? Just true. Right? We do see people who are crippled, physically crippled, but then they contribute a lot. At least I know a couple of people who are immobilized, neck down, they are immobilized. Neck down, immobilized. This is all only they have control over the mouth and ears and eyes and ears. That's all they have control over. How they sit and all that, they have no control at all. The nervous system is totally cut off. Totally cut off. And that happened when they were young, when they were in their youth, right? One fellow went for the army selection, and then unfortunately he fell down in one of the selection. He just some physical something was there. This fellow just fell down, crashing, and then down below it got cut, immobilized. Definitely the fellow our friend was really very broken, thoroughly shattered. There was one surgeon, one doctor who told him, you can do a million things still, right? You can do a million things. You can help others. Don't think that, how can I help others? No, I need my help. I need even to sit and stand, and even I've seen that person. So the hand, just like that, it's no control at all. And then some assistant is there, puts it back in position. And then after a while the head sinks like that, and then the fellow helps this person to lift the head up. I've seen that happen. Do that. I need help, not even to lift my head, I need somebody's help, etc. To go from here to there, I help every time I have to depend on somebody else. Right? How can I be of help to anyone? This is one type of help. Going from here to there, you need one type of help. Who says that nobody needs help? Everyone needs help. We all need help. We cannot live in independence at all. We always need help. I don't want anybody's help. That person does not understand. You need help. Without help, you can't live. You just can't live. If not on people, at least on animals, you depend on worms, you depend on bacteria, you depend upon, right? To digest, we depend upon bacteria. Okay? To digest. Without bacteria, no digestion at all. No digestion. Just the enzymes do not digest. Bacteria is necessary to digest. It's necessary. Without bacteria, I need bacteria at least to digest. If not anything else. Without bacteria, no digestion. All bugs are not bad. You know that? No, there are good bugs. Good bugs are necessary. There are good bugs. Good bacteria is there. Right? Harmful, yes, of course. But then there are necessary. Bacteria is necessary for survival. Even to digest, as simple as that. So we need help. Who told you that you are useless? You can be of great help. You can be an inspiration. You can help others. The doctor told him. That was a turning point for that young man. Today there are about some 2,000, 3,000 people dependent upon him. That man runs one institution in South India, a well-known institution. He runs an institution where physically disabled, orphan children are there, widows are there, destitutes are there, homeless are there, right? Thousands this man is supporting. This man is running an institution. Okay? Neck down, immobilized. One may be shattered, for what one does not have. In the worst case, one may be shattered, but then one can do a lot more. Okay. So, what one has, appreciating what one has makes all the difference in life. You are a success if you know what you have, if you appreciate what you have, right? You can be a success. You can be a success in life. You will be a failure if you don't appreciate what you don't have. If you don't appreciate what you have, you will be a failure. So appreciating what one has, what one is given, right? People give us everything. The world gives us everything. So appreciate, be appreciative of what is given. With reference to Guru, the teacher, what one is given, one appreciates what is given, what one is getting, one appreciates. That is the devotion, bhaktya, swagurum pranamya. Okay, we'll continue. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhir Yajatraha Sthirairangai Stushtvamyusasthanubhi Vyashema Devahitam Yadavyuhu Swasti na Indro Vridhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho arishtanemihi Swasti no brihaspatirdadhatu Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om